Hey everyone, it's Suzanne, and I want to thank you for joining us for our So Suzy podcast, where we'll be exploring and demystifying some of the crafting world's greatest mysteries. You will also be able to get the show notes and the links we reference by visiting us at www.sosuzypodcast.com. Welcome to our final week for our June planner series. Throughout the month, we have introduced you to several different styles of planners, from bullet journals, planners we end up decorating ourselves, custom planner pages for our individual needs, and now we're going to end the month with a tried and true traditional planner and talk to Laurie Huff from Quo Vadis. I started my very first planner when I was in third grade because, at 8 years old, we have quite the life and we are just so busy. In fourth grade, I moved into creating my own fancy stationery with my girlfriend who lived in our townhouse complex, and I can tell you, it was positively wretched. By high school, I was a planner diva, and I never went anywhere without it. It was my life. When I started driving, I tracked my mileage, gas, expenses, homework, special events, the whole shebang. For me, as long as I had a planner, I was in control. I knew what was going on around me. It helped to enhance my memory, and it also forced me to sit down and reflect. Not only would I fill it in with what do I need to do in the future, but I would go back and track what I did that came up unexpectedly. Special moments when my kids were little, exciting news throughout the day. My planner was essentially a moment journal. Garrett lost a tooth. Jordan won a citizenship award. I dumped ding dong. Quick little snippets that happened throughout my life. Depending on what was happening, dictated the size and the style I would use. Monthly, dailies, and weeklies all had their place throughout my life, and let's face it, that is truly the value of a planner. A planner is there to help you manage your time, day, and events. If your planner is working against you, you're better off calling it a day and finding an early happy hour somewhere. I also felt that there was no better way to end our planner series than to talk to someone who knows not only planners, but the different styles and their individual benefits. Laurie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. I am thrilled to be on here. This is going to be fun.
Now, you are not a novice in the planner world. Tell us a bit about you, your planner journey, and what planner you are passionately in love with.
Oh, well, how much time have you got? Because this is obviously my favorite topic in the world. I've been on the planner journey for a very long time. I used planners in school and in college. I used bound planners. I used Filofax planners. And I was always on the search for my perfect planner and what would just make me feel organized and in control of everything. And after years and years of searching for my perfect planner, I started my own blog called plannerisms.com in 2009. And I did that because I was living overseas in a place where I was not able to see planners in person. I couldn't just go to the store and look at planners that I was interested in and see what they were like. So I was always searching online for photos of features of planners and people's reviews and what they liked, because I could only ever order planners online and I couldn't just go and buy them at the store. So I discovered even on planner companies' websites that they didn't always have a lot of detail of what their planners looked like or what the features were. So I started Plannerisms really mostly as a reference for myself, but also for other people, reviews of planners of all kinds with lots of photos where people could see all the features of a planner and compare it to other planners and make their own decision about what they were going to use themselves. So I started doing that sort of for my own planner journey. And also around that time, I was asked to be a contributor on Filofaxy.com, which is a blog about filofaxes, which was also a passion of mine at the time as well, and still is. So I was doing plannerisms, I was doing Filofaxy, I was looking at planners of all kinds and reviewing them and analyzing them and trying them out, which was the big thing because I've tried so many different kinds of planners. So I have a lot of experience with trying them, testing them out, seeing what they're good for, seeing what circumstances a certain type of a planner would be good to use and other planners that maybe weren't so good. I learned a lot about paper quality and weights of paper, pens to use with them, and all of that. So I learned a lot about planners during that time. And then almost 3 years ago, I was approached to write the Quo Vadis blog. And Quo Vadis is a brand that I know and love very well. So I was absolutely thrilled when they came and asked me if I would be interested in writing for them. Quo Vadis planners have had a special place in my heart because I've used them for a long time. The first time I used a Quo Vadis planner was, I won't say how long ago, it was years ago. And it was during a very busy time in my life. I was working full time. I was applying to graduate schools. I was taking graduate courses. I was applying to the Peace Corps, which is a long, involved, multi-step process. And then toward the end of that year, I was getting ready to leave for the Peace Corps. And during that time, I was using a Quo Vadis Septanote planner, which is an academic year planner. And it's really well laid out. It's got days as vertical columns timed to the half hour, space every day for notes and lists, a weekly dashboard for categorized lists. Like, I had it all together in that planner, and I still have that planner years later. And I look back at that like, wow, I was really busy. And it just kept everything under control. It's a great layout for people who are really busy and you are doing a lot of different things. It helps you incorporate everything that you're doing in your life. So that planner kept me sane during that whole process. And then while I was a Peace Corps volunteer, I was in Nepal and I was a teacher and a teacher trainer. And I begged my mom and my sister to send me a Quo Vadis text agenda, which is another planner that Quo Vadis makes. It's an academic year day per page planner. And I used that for planning my lessons, and I also used it as a daily journal. And now when I look back at what I wrote in my text agenda during that time while I was in Nepal, it all just seemed very normal at the time, like going to buy my vegetables at the bazaar and the lessons that I taught that day and things like that. But now it has become an excellent record of that time of my life. So that kind of brought my planner journey full circle when Quo Vadis asked me to work with them. And it's been a blast ever since. I've really enjoyed writing Quo Vadis blog for them.
What makes the Quo Vadis planner, so special? I mean, as far as, there's a lot of journals and planners out there that have the page per day and the dailies and the weeklies, but what really sets Quo Vadis apart from the other planners that are out there?
First of all, the Quo Vadis planners, they come in a huge range of sizes, all the way from pocket up to extra large. There's loads of different types of formats. And there's structured, there's open format, there's really something for everybody in the range. But what really sets them apart is the quality, because the paper is spectacular. I mean, anybody who's a pen fiend, the fountain pen community, artists, everybody adores the paper. It's called Clairefontaine paper, and it's made in France. And yeah, I hear the gasp because people may know Clairefontaine. They also make notebooks. It's the same paper that's in Rhodia, the web notebooks, the Rhodiorama notebooks, the writing pads. And so that's the big difference for the Quo Vadis planners is the spectacular paper. And they're great with fountain pens, with any pen, gel pens, because there's no bleeding, when there's like feathering on the page, it makes your writing look blurry. There's none of that. There's no bleeding through to the other side, so you can use both sides of the page. People who do calligraphy love the paper because it just makes it look so crisp. A lot of the Quo Vadis planners have white paper, and it is a pure white, so it doesn't interfere with the colors of your inks or whatever you're using. And other planners of the Quo Vadis range have a creamy ivory paper, which is really nice, very classy looking. And then there's also a few of the planners have, it's sort of a historic paper that they used to use in ledger books in France. And it's got just a very slight greenish tint. You wouldn't really notice it to look at it, but it's specifically designed to be easy on your eyes, so there's no sort of glare. So anyway, so the paper is spectacular, but the books are great quality overall, and their binding is excellent. They're designed to be archival, so you can keep them for years and years as a record, as I do. I keep all of my planners. And another thing that's so great about them are the covers, because most of the Quo Vadis planners are refillable. So you can buy a refill every year, which is very ecological if you want to have a lower carbon footprint and not use so many materials. You can use the same cover year after year. Or if you're like me and you like variety, you can change your cover seasonally. You can change your cover just when you change your mind. You can buy the covers separately. So if you buy your planner and then you decide you want other colors of the cover, you can buy those. And the covers come in lots of different materials as well. There's sort of textured, there's smooth, there's really soft touch ones, there's leather. So there's a lot of variety, and you can personalize. I mean, it's all about personal choice. You can choose exactly the format that you like, exactly the size that you need, exactly the cover color that you want, and texture and fabric. So yeah, so there's a lot to love about Quo Vadis planners.
And the colors are just yummy.
They're gorgeous.
They have the fuchsia and the lavender and the turquoise, and they're vibrant without being obnoxious. And
they have a really good selection of the colors.
And then they also have add-ins or extras that you guys have for your planners, for like the notes and stuff like that. So how does that work with the covers and the planner?
That's right. So most of the planners come with a notes booklet that is already it's tucked into the planner, and then you can buy refills of that if you fill it up. So the way it works is with the refillable cover, when you tuck in the planner, it creates pockets inside the front and the back of the cover. And so the booklet, you take the back cover of the booklet and you just slot that in to the cover. And you can put one in the back, you can put one in the front, you can put one front and back, whatever you like. And then once that booklet is filled up, you can take it out and swap it out with a new one. Or you can have booklets for different topics. Like if you want a booklet for your personal notes in the front of the book and a booklet for your work notes in the back of the book, you can do that. Yeah, it's really easy just to swap those out, and it's easy to customize however you need it to be.
Which is nice, because there's nothing more frustrating when you get, a bound binder with the notes section. Because I know I make tons of notes and thoughts and brainstorming ideas, and then you run out of the notes section and you're like, oh, man, now I gotta go get, even though it's not really devastating when I have to go buy another notebook, but it'd be nice to be able to, okay, now I got this one pulled out, or, here's my notebook for podcasts. This one's filled up. I can just grab another one, stick it in, my planner, and I don't have to worry about losing it, misplacing it, grabbing the wrong one, because it's all tucked in there nice and easy.
Exactly. It's nice to have it all within one cover, and then you just got one book to grab and go.
Exactly. And then a lot of our listeners are in the creative industry. And not only do they plan for work and home, but they have their design team commitments and deadlines and cards to make, businesses to run. We have blog hops, challenges, social media. And there's so much. Do you recommend using multiple planners or just one, since you are a planner guru? And which style of the Quo Vadis would you recommend for that type of intense planning? I mean, you understand what it means to be super busy.
Yeah. Well, and we're all juggling multiple roles these days, aren't we? And there's no clear delineation anymore between work and home and family and personal, because it's all mixed in, and our time is all mixed together. So because of that, of course, your mileage may vary. Everybody is different, and some people do well using multiple planners, but in general, I recommend using one planner to plan your day and to plan your time. But that said, there are lots of tools that you can use alongside your planner to help you with planning, but also with tracking, with capturing, with note-taking. And so a lot of times people think of a planner as everything has to be in one book. And I've been there and I've done that. That's really hard to do, to keep your entire life in one book. And the book gets really enormous. So what I recommend is using a planner that you can carry with you everywhere, so that you can always update your schedule on the go. Somebody calls you on the phone and you're sitting in the car in the parking lot and you need to update your planner right then. Or somebody catches you as you're walking. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about this. Can you make sure that you'll be there? And you can just write it in your planner. You've always got it with you. So to keep that streamlined, you have to make some decisions about what you really need to have with you all the time and what you can leave someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I know a lot of people have their own businesses. Maybe they have deliverables. Maybe they have projects that they're working on, multiple projects at a time. I like to use trackers for things like that. And a tracker can be anything from a chart that you write in your bullet journal notebook, or I like to use spreadsheets on my computer for trackers. And that way I can see the progress of what's happening and when. But you always write dates in your planner. Anytime there's a deadline date or a deliverable date or milestones, if you need to have this much of your project completed by a certain date, those dates, make sure those go in your actual planner. Yeah, some of your tools you can keep alongside your planner, like a notebook or a bullet journal, or like we were talking about a minute ago with the little booklets that can slip into your planner. Some tools are better off kept on your computer or someplace where other people can access them as well. Some things are better off in a big home binder or your files. So the planner it's a piece of the entire puzzle of keeping organized, and you just have to make decisions of what goes where. But yeah, I recommend a planner to be streamlined and that you can take with you.
And I like what you said about, if it has a date, put it in your planner.
Yeah.
And, for the tracking of, events or, things that are happening, that are going on with the project, whether it's a bullet journal or in your Excel spreadsheet or, somewhere else. But I think, especially for me, I do get so busy and I tend to get lost in the weeds, I guess, because I will put everything in my planner and then it gets a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
And we talked about last week. I mean, this is ridiculous, but I have in the custom planner that I was doing, I have 8 monthly calendar pages.
Oh dear.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I have my daily, and then I have, my weekly for my planning. But what I was doing and this is that aha moment, I guess it's so simple that I forgot is, if it has a date, it goes in your planner. Suzanne, you don't need to put every little tiny thing that is in your planner just because you're planning something. You know what I mean? My projects, you don't need to be in there unless there is that hard date. And with juggling so many things, kid functions and, bills and house things and putting that date in there versus just random everything. And being that you can actually slide those little notebooks inside your planner, that makes it kind of nice too, because if you are working on a project that you need to have information, or you're sitting in the parking lot waiting for your kids to get out of school, you can just start jotting those notes down. You're not ruining your planner. You're just putting it inside the notebook inside your planner, which is then easily removed and changed out. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and I do that all the time because I have the little booklet in the back of my planner, and I flip back there and I write blog post ideas. I've got lists of blog post ideas, things that I need to talk to people about, whatever details of stuff. And then in my actual planner, I'll write my actions. I am out of sight, out of mind. Like if I don't have it in front of my face, I will forget about it. So in my planner, I put my schedule, and I also put the tasks that I need to do. I have daily tasks, and I have weekly tasks, and I have monthly tasks. And so every week when I do my planning, I make sure that on my planner weekly spread, I have pulled everything that I need to do, and it's all on my weekly spread. So I don't have to look all over the place for my action items. All my actions are there on the weekly spread. And so I can see what I need to do, and I can see when I'll have time to do it.
What advice would you give to someone who is actually looking for their perfect planner, if they are just like so overwhelmed and they really want to, this is a goal for them, okay, I need to get my stuff together, what kind of things should they think about or write down or look for in a planner? Because you guys do have a lot of different styles and formats. What would be some of the process of trying to find out which one would work best for them?
Yeah, it can be very overwhelming because there's so much information online now. Back when I started my blog, there was not nearly as much stuff online to look at, and there are loads of great ideas, but it can be very overwhelming, especially for somebody who's just starting to look for a planner and isn't sure what they'll need. So the first thing I would say is stop looking online and get out a piece of paper and write down what you need your planner to do for you. You'll need it to keep your schedule, and you'll want a planner that can handle your personal schedule, your work schedule, your family's schedules, everything all together in one planner. You need it to be able to manage your tasks. And then beyond that, those are the basic things. Think about what else you want your planner to do. Do you want to track your goals? Do you want to create a record that you can refer to later? Don't try to do too much at once with your planner, because then you'll feel overwhelmed by it and you'll just feel like you're underwater with it. But start with the basics, add to it as you need. One thing that's great is if you're handy with printing out, or even just sort of this, I do this a lot, just hand drawing layouts, and then photocopy a couple weeks worth and try a layout before you buy a planner. And that way you can see if it's going to work for you. Or if you're not sure about what size you'll need, try some different sizes just that you've done up yourself. And that'll give you an idea of what you need for the basics. And then you can go from there. And unfortunately, a lot of it is experimentation. It's really rare that you're going to hit on your perfect planner your first try. And if you do, congratulations. You have to try some different things and see what's going to work for you. And the other thing to remember is that your planning needs change all the time. And this goes for everybody. I mean, one week you'll be super busy with scheduled events, and then another week you'll have fewer things scheduled, but you'll be loaded with tasks. New things come at you all the time. Your roles will change. The school year ends, and then suddenly it's summertime, and you've got to come up with a whole new daily schedule. So you have to be able to roll with it and use a planner that's flexible enough to be used in different ways, and that it's not set and prescribed in the way that you have to use it. So flexibility is good. You want it to be structured enough to do what you need it to do. And yeah, just try some things out on your own and see what works well.
With so much technology surrounding us, especially with, get off of line, and figure out what it is that you need to do for yourself. But why do you think planners are so popular right now? I mean, we have our iPhones and our smartphones, and we have, our computers to kind of manage our time and our day, and yet we are seeing such a heavy influx in paper planning organization. Why do you think that is right now?
That's a great question because, yeah, I mean, there's an app for everything these days. You can track whatever you want on your phone. It'll remind you. You can share your schedule with other people. That's all great. But like you said, a lot of people are either still with paper planners or coming back to paper planners for various reasons. And I think it's because paper planners are an experience that technology can't replicate. Paper planners are very tactile. You've got the experience of holding a book in your hand, and you turn the pages and you can feel the smoothness of the paper, and writing with a nice pen on nice paper is such a luxurious experience that people really enjoy that. Plus, multiple studies have shown that writing by hand encourages learning and it increases memory. And I think a lot of people are coming back to that as well, and they're realizing when they tap something into their phone, they don't remember it until the thing goes off and they're like, oh gosh, I forgot about that appointment. But when you write it in your planner, that increases the memory. And then when you have it in front of you and you refer to your planner often, you can see how everything fits into your schedule and into your week and into your life. You've got it all in front of you, all incorporated in your planner. And another reason why people, I think, are coming back to paper planners is something that you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, and how you can keep your planners as a history of your life. You can archive them, and you either can use them to just look up dates. Oh, when did I move to that place? Oh, I already forgot. Oh, it was on this date. Or you can, like you were saying, those milestones with the kids and special things that happened. And even if you don't keep a journal per se, it's amazing how much you can remember just from a couple of lines in your planner. So I think people are coming back to that a lot for their memories and their personal history and the tactile experience of using a nice paper planner.
And I think that's so true because you had mentioned it too when you were going to going to the market to pick up your vegetables, and it is something that I don't have time to journal. Never been a big diary person, and I'm just so busy. But it's like even in my journal that I have, or my planner that I have now, I have a little section for special memories, and it's very, very small. And
Hmm.
it's not anything for me to, write down the great events that happened in my boring little life. It really is, my son is 19 and he sent me a text randomly without even asking for money. I love you, Mom. And I mean, I just about like I'm like trying not to cry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm old, and I wrote it down. It's like Garrett sent me a text saying he loved me today. I'm like, wow, Susie.
And it is those special little details of your day-to-day life that,
Yeah,
I kept journals for years and years, and then I would never go back and read them again because it's like I really don't want to slog through that emotional journey again.
right.
But I love looking back through my old planners because they're a record of what my day-to-day life was like. I look at my planners from when my kids were really little and
Mm-hmm.
the things that we did and just sort of how we spent our days, and as they got older, the stuff that we did, and way back before they were born, and what my life was like at different times of my life. It's just, oh yeah, and I had to go. Oh, I remember I went to that event, or I went to see that talk, or these things that I got to do, and it's amazing how much it jogs your memory of just seeing it. Oh, just like one or two little things written in your planner brings back all these memories without having to go through your interpretation at the time of
Exactly, and that is so true because it's
pages in
facts.
your journal.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
like, I went to this event, and maybe at the time of the event, you were frustrated, or you had a bad day, or your hair looked
right.
awful, or,
Uh-huh.
work was terrible. And instead of rereading your journal about the emotion that it elicited that day, it's looking back and what that perceived experience was, because you might not remember the day-to-day frustration of a bad hair day, but you might remember, wow, it was beautiful, or I remember that this person said that, and that really influenced my life. And it's the factual perceptions, or as your life kind of changes and how it affected you in the future. It's not the drudgery, I guess, of eliciting emotions that really maybe not even be important nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's I like that aspect of going back and reading through the journals. I'm not remembering the wow, we had to eat popcorn again for dinner, guys. Sorry. I'm not remembering how poor we were. I'm remembering, oh my gosh, Garrett kicking his training wheels off of his bike because he
Yeah.
didn't think he needed them anymore. That was important, not popcorn for dinner.
That's right.
One of my favorite segments of the show is our fun facts, where we ask you your personal favorites. So, Laurie, what is your
Yes.
favorite Quo Vadis planner style?
Oh, for me, obviously, I mean, there's loads of different ones that are great for different things, whether you want a day per page planner to use as a combined planner plus journal. I've done that. That's awesome to do. I like the week plus notes style for when I've got lots of lists every week and things like that. There's pretty much everything, but I do have to say I have a long time favorite, Quo Vadis planner style. And this one has been my go-to planner for years and years during busy times, especially during times of transition. I've moved a lot. I've moved internationally a lot. It's difficult. And it is the Septanote that I was talking about earlier. And that's the academic version. And the January to December version of that format is called the Trinote. And it is awesome. It keeps everything all together. Every week, you've got your days with timed columns, space every day for your daily lists or notes, and then there's a weekly dashboard where you can write your categorized lists. It just keeps everything together. So whenever I'm really busy and I've got lots of tasks and I've got different roles that I'm filling and I just need some place to keep it all together, it keeps me sane. That planner has saved my bacon multiple times over the years. So yes, gratitude to whoever. Actually, I know exactly who designed it. That's the original Quo Vadis format. And that was created in the 60s by a French doctor who was dissatisfied with his planner choices. So he stamped it out in a notebook and created that design. So thanks to him because
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
And then what is your favorite Quo Vadis planner cover and color?
Well, this is a hard choice because as we were saying earlier, there are so many to choose from. There's different cover materials. Some of them have a nice sort of textury feel. Some of them are smooth. There's different colors to choose from. Some are bright, some are subdued, some are professional looking, some are really fun and cute. But first of all, I'm very tactile. So I like a soft feel. And my favorite for that is called the Texas cover. And that's relatively new. It just came out a couple of years ago. And it's vinyl, but it feels like almost like suede.
Ooh,
Not a thick suede, but it's like
like a
it's
micro
really soft.
suede? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's really soft and velvety. It's just so nice to hold. And also, my favorite color is purple. It always has been. I can't explain it. I remember going to kindergarten and my nap rug had to be purple. Like, always loved purple. And the Texas cover comes in this violet, gorgeous purple. So, yeah, I have to admit, out of all of them, that is my favorite.
What is your favorite pen to use with your planner? Because there is nothing better than an amazing pen on
Yeah.
fabulous paper. So, what is your favorite pen on that Clairefontaine paper?
Well, that is the truth. And I like to color code in my
Mhm.
planner. So again, with everything in one planner, I like to be able to just see at a glance what's happening, what I need to do for what. So it's by Uniball Jetstream. It's a 4+1 pen. So it has four colors of ink. It's got black, and I use black ink for all my work stuff in my planner. It's got blue, and I use blue ink for all my personal stuff in my planner. It's got red, which I use for anything that I need to really highlight. And it's also got green, and I use green for anything health related. Like if somebody's got a doctor's appointment, or like if one of my kids was sick and stayed home from school, I write that in my planner so I can look back and see when's the last time somebody was ill or when's the last time they missed school. It just makes it really easy to find. And the plus one is the pencil. It's got a mechanical pencil in. So it's got
Wow.
four colors of ink plus a mechanical pencil and an eraser. And I use pencil when I'm planning my blog posts because I change them around a lot. Something new will come out. Oh, I'll shift this one to next week so I can put this one in this week. Or I move things around a lot during the month so I can erase it, write it in pencil, and it just stays right with my planner. So I've got five writing utensils in one thing. So I've got one pen, one planner with my notes booklets tucked in there. It's very compact and ready to go.
And then, where can people go to learn more about you and the Quo Vadis planners?
To learn about the Quo Vadis planners, you can see all of them on quovadisplanners.com. You can find each individual planner. You can click through to see where to purchase the planners. You can find more information on each planner. It can help you find the planner that you're looking for, or if you're not sure what you want, there's pictures of all of the formats and you can browse and see what you're looking for. And for if you want to read what I write, you can go to quovadisblog.com. Every week on Mondays, we have Time Management Monday. I've got an article every Monday on time management and how to keep it all under control. Every Wednesday is Writing Wednesday, where we talk about journaling, writing, creativity, all of that. We have it's called a page per day challenge that we're doing this year that we also did last year. And it is writing a page every day in a day per page planner or a notebook of anything at all. It can be your journal, it can be quotes, inspiration, you can stick things in. We've got a page on Quo Vadis blog about that and examples of how people have used their page every day. You can see that too. So you can go to the blog and see all of that for inspiration on planning, recording, journaling, writing, time management, all of that good stuff.
And then, where can they pick up a Quo Vadis planner? Is it just online, or are there places that they can see it in person and touch the paper?
There are some brick and mortar stores who carry the Quo Vadis planners. You can find them at Barnes and Noble. Usually they've got a good selection of the academic year planners. Those should be out relatively soon. I know they are currently shipping to retailers, so they should be in stores within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Otherwise, you can look. We've got a store locator on quovadisplanners.com, and you can see if there's a store near you. Unfortunately, the reality is that a lot of bookstores have closed down. A lot of retailers that used to carry Quo Vadis planners have either closed or don't carry as many planners anymore, which is just, I think that's just a trend now with so many people shopping online. I think that's a reality for a lot of booksellers. But the great news is you can buy all of the Quo Vadis planners online. Again, if you go to quovadisplanners.com and you click through a particular planner, there's a little spot at the top of each planner's page that says shop. And you click on that and it'll give you a list of online retailers where you can buy that particular planner. So there are several that you can choose from.
Wonderful. And then before we let Laurie go, I want to give a big shout out to Quo Vadis for being one of our super sponsors for the Planner Series. Not only are they giving away 3 Rhodia bullet journals this month, but you could also win one of the 3 Scholar Club planners that are in the academic format for August 2017 through July 2018, which means you will have it in time to start your new planner off right. All you need to do is go out to quovadisplanners.com. Let us know what's your favorite planner style and the cover color that you like the most, and leave us a comment in our show notes at SoSuzyPodcast.com by July 6th. We will announce the winner on July 7th on our website and on our So Suzy Podcast Facebook page. Laurie, thank you so much for being on our show today and sponsoring our June Planner Series.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
And if you missed any of the episodes from our Planner Series, please head over to SoSuzyPodcast.com and click Series. Thanks again to Quo Vadis, Paperclip Planners, and My Sweet Petunia for sponsoring our show. And if you would like to find out more about our sponsors, we will have the links to their sites in our show notes. Until next time, this is Suzanne, and you have been listening to the So Suzy Podcast. Happy planning!